So I saw this article put out by Bleacher Report the other day that seemed to talk about how Astros owner Jim Crane accused the Yankees organization of being a bunch of cheaters. So let me sum it up for you real quick. What basically happened is that after hearing Yankees GM Brian Cashman complain yet again about how they felt as though a World Series had been robbed from them because of what the Astros did in 2017, Jim Crane responded by saying something along the lines of, if I were part of one of the teams that cheated but went unnoticed, then I'd keep my mouth shut and just move on. And what Crane is referring to is a letter from the MLB commissioner, Rob Manfred, revealing that the Yankees also participated in a form of sign stealing around that era, even though it wasn't as wide range as Houston's. This got me thinking, well, damn, it feels like there's a new cheating scandal in baseball every year at this point. And what I've come to realize is that baseball's integrity seems to have been in question since the beginning of time, if we're being honest. I mean, the earliest cheating scandal in the MLB came literally 1 year after the creation of the league in 1876, when 4 players on the Louisville Grays got caught throwing games for money, costing the squad a chance at the pennant. And if you still don't believe that cheating is a part of baseball culture, well, you're about to be proven wrong. The next scandal in the league's history wouldn't be for 30 years, but I think it's a pretty big one. In 1908, in a game that decided the NL champions at the time, there seemed to have been a bribery attempt. It turns out that the team physician for the New York Giants attempted to bribe one of the umpires to help the Giants win, but supposedly the ump refused, and the Giants ended up losing anyway. So, though the drama doesn't stop there, as there's a conspiracy that the team physician was actually a scapegoat, and the person that was actually trying to bribe the umps at the time was highly respected Giants GM John McGraw. But that's just a theory. And before we get on with the video, how about you take a quick pause, smash that like button while clicking subscribe with notifications on, so you don't miss any of the newest videos, where I may talk about your team. Anyway, back to the video. The next major cheating scandal I want to talk about is the infamous 1919 World Series conspiracy. Well, not really conspiracy, because it's been proven, or at least believed by many, that 8 of the Chicago White Sox players were seen as throwing games in the World Series versus the Reds. And now details of the scandal are a bit sketchy, especially since it happened over 100 years ago. But it seems as though this was true, as each of the 8 players, nicknamed the Black Sox, all got lifetime bans from the league. And if you thought that was the craziest cheating story, then you're in for a ride. As in the 1980s, you guessed it, more cheating. And I'm not talking about the affair that Lionel Richie had with fashion designer Diane Alexander. No, I'm still talking baseball here. Where in 1985, there was a cocaine scandal when 6 Pittsburgh Pirates players and 7 other ball players around the league appeared in front of a Pittsburgh grand jury, and their testimony led to the Pittsburgh drug trials. This testimony would lead to stories like how Rod Scurry once left a baseball game early to find cocaine, and how there were multiple drug dealers who went inside the Pittsburgh clubhouse. I mean, talk about crazy times. But if you can believe it, that wasn't even the biggest scandal of the decade. As in 1989, Pete Rose would outdo all of that when news broke that Rose bet on Major League Baseball games while being a manager in the league. I mean, not only was he gambling on games, but he would gamble on his own team games, as in the Cincinnati Reds, while he was the manager. I mean, there was even a report that Pete Rose bet on 52 Reds games in the 1987 season at a minimum of $10,000 a day. Like, what was this guy thinking? And the only positive that you could spin from that whole situation is that he bet on the Reds to win the games. So there's that. But due to the commissioner of baseball dying suddenly of a heart attack, only a few days after what I believe was him getting suspended, not suspended, but having a lifetime ban, it was seeming like Pete Rose would never be put back into the league, which is basically what happened. I mean, we're in 2022 and Pete Rose is still on that lifetime ban, so, you know. Oh, you think it's over? Nah, we're just getting started, because the cheating seemed to only pick up at the turn of the century. With, you guessed it, another scandal. Fix your game, baseball. When in 05-06, there were steroid rumors from some of the biggest names in baseball at the time, with Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Jason Giambi all being accused of using steroids, with facts that led to several de facto bans from the league by suspending players who were proven to be users or even suspected. Though, if you doubted any of these steroid rumors, they'd be put to rest, as Jose Canseco would later go on to release a tell-all book, essentially admitting to him and other superstars at the time using roids. And now, it seems as if our story has come full circle, since the next scandal I'm going to talk about is the sign stealing scandal of 2017, where in 2019, a former Astro player, Mike Fiers, would come out and tell the media that Houston had been sign stealing electronically since at least the 2017 season, which is, I think, the year they won the World Series, maybe? And after a quick investigation by MLB, Astros manager AJ Hinch and GM Jeff Lunhow were each suspended for 1 year from baseball. Plus, the Astros were fined $5 million as an organization. While former players and coaches of the team, like Carlos Beltran and Alex Cora, were also included in the report by the MLB commissioner Rob Manfred, which would lead to Cora losing his job as the GM of the Red Sox for a year. And if this doesn't prove to you that cheating is not rooted into this sport, then I don't know what will. Quick side note here. I know I missed a few major scandals, but due to time constraints, I couldn't really squeeze them all into this video. So if you want to see a part 2 on this, how about leaving a comment down below saying part 2 please, with some of the other big scandals that I forgot to mention. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.